So my name is Vicki Lau, and today I'm here to share with you my journey of success from SP all the way to the entertainment capital of the world, Hollywood. But before I get into that, just like a Hollywood movie, I'd like to give you a bit of backstory as to how I even found my passion and then entered SP in the first place. And my story begins with this quote. Now, how many of you guys have read this somewhere before? Raise your hands. Yeah? Not surprised. Now, what if I added a little twist to that story? And it's true, see? When I was younger, I really had no friends. None. Zilch. Nada. So out of curiosity, I went online and Googled that quote with people with no friends, just to see what I could find. Maybe someone else who's in the same position as I am and has no one else around them to average out the influence. To my surprise, I did find someone by the name of Nick Osborne, and there he agrees that he's not the average of the 5 people he spends the most time with. Now, sure, he's not saying it for the same reasons I am, but I too agree that ultimately, if you know what you want, that your surroundings become irrelevant, and that includes the people you are stuck with. Of course, maybe, and just maybe, I'm just intolerable to a fault. But regardless of what the cause is, it was the isolation which then led me to discover and harvest my passion. In fact, I would thank those days when I was alone, when I was bullied, ostracized by my peers. For it was that adversity which then led me to discover my passion and eventually my rise of success. In my loneliness at the age of 14, I discovered the joys of video editing and recording, where I was able to express my true self and tell stories I could not possibly explain in words. I felt like the world is literally in my hands. Needless to say, I stumbled across the diploma in digital media at SP, and the rest is history. Now, SP was very different from my secondary school experience, not only because of the people I was surrounded by, but mainly because of the clubs that existed that allowed me to harness my passion even further. For example, the SP Videography Club. I'm pretty sure if I didn't join that club, I would still be the same person you saw in that secondary school picture. In fact, I was entrusted with leadership positions for the first time in my life, and I felt trusted to lead a group of people, something that no one back in the day would ever let me do because I was supposedly too shy and quiet to be a leader. Of course, SP also benefited my career and life as a whole, for in 2010, I was one of the few selected for a pioneer batch of internships in the United States, along with other interns from local universities. Not only did I learn how to adapt to a whole new culture, but it also opened my eyes to the meaning of work-life balance. So of course, when you graduate as one of the top 7 students in 2011 in SP with an MDA scholarship, it is easy to think that you are the best. It is easy to think that you know everything, and that because SP, or actually Singapore, is supposedly one of the best places in the world to educate your children, that you are now the best of the best in the world, of the best in the world. Personally, however, I never thought that way. Never did, and probably never will. Because you see, SP inculcated in me a sense of understanding that the world is a much bigger place than just Singapore itself. So when I studied for my bachelor's in the United States, a country consisting of 325 million people, I was reminded again how small Singapore truly is. In fact, 325 million is like 57 Singapores. And I'm pretty sure you can find so many places all over the world to drop all these Singapores all over. Quite recently, I was actually selected by the Savannah College of Art and Design, which is my school in the US, to go back to Georgia to give about 4 talks on my experience in my field, as well as with immigration. So I think that means I'm doing pretty well, right? Anyway, life in the US, though, isn't without its joys and woes for sure. But within the short span of time I spent there, I've definitely racked up my achievements, working on a bunch of major blockbuster movies, as well as meeting a bunch of talented people. Of course, since most of my work is in motion pictures, perhaps it would make much more sense if I actually showed you my work. Now, aside from just working behind the scenes, I've also been on the red carpets and been interviewed by US radio and social platforms. So it is not all behind the computers all the time. In addition, I've also worked on set as a supervisor, working with, for example, Stephen Lang, who is the military guy from James Cameron's Avatar, and also on the CBS lot. I've even been to the Emmys in 2014, and that was pretty cool. But, it wasn't all red carpets and roses and paparazzi for sure. For great rewards sometimes come with great or even dangerous risks. For shortly after that, in November 2014, when I was staying at an Airbnb place for a short class in San Jose, I almost died. And by almost, I mean that a roommate whom I was staying with, who had some kind of mental illness, almost strangled me to death in the bathroom. Now, most people would not come back from that. But because of my SP experience, as well as my burning desire for my passion, I decided to not let the incident affect me. I carried on with my life, and the next day even scored flying colors on the stock trading test. And if you think that was all the challenges I had faced, in 2015, when I was working for a VR startup, I created an innovative stereoscopic conversion workflow. The company then sacked me and went on to publish that workflow and themselves as an article written by Fast Company. Now, the only reason why Steve Jobs is even here is because of this quote, which is true, that even though I was absolutely distraught by the situation, more so than the strangulation in San Jose, it turned out to be the best thing that has ever happened to me. Because just like my secondary school experience, I leveraged that adversity and went to work for a competing startup, which then ultimately led to more work in VR, and even being invited as a technical speaker and panelist on the subject, and the rest is history again. And to be frank, I haven't even started on them yet. Today, I have an O1 visa, have given a TED Talk, and I've even worked on the Fox Studios lot. So maybe I should thank them for sacking me in 2015. Either ways, I now run my own studio in Singapore, with partners in Los Angeles and Europe, creating entertainment experiences that seek to empower each and every one of you to live the life you desire. Speaking of desire, here's the truth that maybe some of you know, and some of you perhaps forgot about. It is all about you and what you want. Because you see, I could have been satisfied being one of the top 6,000 students in SP. I also could have been satisfied being awarded the Outstanding Achievement Award out of 12,000 students at SCAD. Heck, I also could have been satisfied being one of the 80,000 selected for a prestigious visa out of 11 million potential contenders. But no, I wasn't. Because what truly satisfies me goes beyond physical awards or accolades. Interesting story. I was recently told that I would not be supported for a particular application because, and I quote, I didn't win any awards. I was tempted to be aggressive, but I decided not to because of this quote. Because I think ultimately, the greatest award in life is to be able to do what you want and to be true to your own goals and to find your own path to success. Because it is true that to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else or trying to tell you what the definition of an award is the greatest accomplishment. So, if you glean nothing else from this, you can find out more about myself or my company, or even join us as potential collaborators as we work towards creating entertainment content that will fundamentally shape your understanding of what it means to live a life of your dreams. Thank you. Well, I mean, in life, you always meet someone who has helped you along the way somehow. So it's kind of like a cycle to give it back because, you've been in that position. You understand the pains. Like, if someone helped me out a little bit earlier, I would be happy. So it's like, if I see someone I can personally relate to because I've been in that situation, I think giving back is the reason why you not only make that person happy, you kind of like make yourself happy as well. So. I would definitely say that I have like mentors, for example, the clubs that I joined at, even the students that I worked with for my final year project, and also in the videography club, the members at the time, they were all very helpful. Even the teachers, like 1 or 2 teachers, or maybe even if I was only having one class with a particular lecturer, however they taught that class was kind of inspirational as well, because it kind of brings out their personality. I was recently back in the US for a talk, like 4 talks, to inspire students again, and also a bunch of computer clubs in high schools in the US also asked me to give a bunch of talks. So yeah, and in my secondary school here too, so yeah. Wow. I would say that you have to start with passion. Like the previous speaker, I think he's absolutely right when he says like, you have to know your why. You can't just go in because you want to be in Hollywood or because you think it's cool. Like it's not cool. Like once you start working 80 hours a week, you think it's not cool. So you have to love it to death. Like you have to survive strangulation in the bathroom in order to basically like live that kind of like passionate life on visual effects. So if you want to get in, the first way to start is understand your why. Like why are you interested in visual effects? Why exactly? I think the closest to that would be animation and film, but in talking about visual effects, like animation, like a Singaporean look to animation, visual effects tends to be a very supporting role behind the scenes. So I would say no, but if you look at it from the animation point of view, then yes.